The question we aim to address is whether animals can effectively adapt to anthropogenic climate change, and if so, what specific behavioral modifications various species exhibit. For some brief history, current global warming patterns most likely reflect the unprecedented increase in anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions since the 1960s. Evidence of accelerating climate change includes global ocean warming, shrinking ice sheets, widespread glacial retreat, decreased snow cover, rising sea level, and an alarming increase, about 30%, in ocean acidification since the Industrial Revolution. Such rapid climate change poses severe consequences as it threatens the existence of animal species who cannot behaviorally adapt. So how are various animal species currently adapting? Are these methods sufficient to keep up with the rate of climate change? Recent evolutionary ecology research suggests three types of adaptations: genetic change, emigration, and phenotypic plasticity. The first method is genetic change, which is also sometimes referred to as microevolution. Microevolution is essentially a change in the frequency of certain genes in a population of a certain species. Unlike macroevolution, which occurs over an evolutionarily long-scale time period, genetic change can occur over just a few generations. Unfortunately, however, even this evolutionarily short-scale change is usually too slow to keep up with the rate of climate change. For example, in 2010, Barry Sinervo investigated this issue in Mexican lizards and found that climate change and altered thermal niches have led to the erosion of lizard diversity. Specifically, this world map indicates the extinction risk of such lizards, shown in red, has significantly increased since 1975 due to global warming patterns. The second way that animals adapt is emigration.
Emigration is a movement of individuals from their old habitats to new habitats. One of the main reasons for emigration is due to climate adversity. In response to this change, emigration allows the individuals to find more optimal habitats where they can better adapt. The recent study done by Nathan Batchelor and others show how extreme weather influences the movement behavior of fish. Climate change is causing these extreme weather events, such as storms, and it is exerting pressures on aquatic ecosystems. For example, the great triggerfish immigrated more during storms. Despite the energy cost for moving away from the storms, they still chose to migrate. As this figure from the study shows, the number of emigrations increased during the times of hurricanes. Thus, the researchers conclude how there is a significant weather effect from climate change on the movement of fish. Emigration is one of the ways individuals adapt to environment. In fact, it does not allow them to cope with the change in a fundamental level, but rather to avoid by finding their optimal habitats.
The third method that animals have used to adapt is phenotypic plasticity.
Phenotypic plasticity refers to an organism's ability to alter its genotype to display a different phenotype depending upon its environment. Although not all species have plastic traits, there are a few that can use plasticity to their advantage. One of these being great tits. In a 1998 paper by Visser, spring temperatures had risen significantly over the past several decades, and great tits have been able to change their date of egg laying in order to adapt to these changes in their environment. Specifically, these increased temperatures have called for selection of an earlier laying date to yield greater survival. However, this has also brought about potential problems with food demands not aligning with availability. Plasticity may be sufficient for slower changes of a couple percentage points for a given generation, but in a 2011 paper by Hoffman, they predicted that phenotypic plasticity is too slow to keep up with rapid changes in climate.
Given this information, we argue that at the rate that anthropogenic climate change is progressing, many species will unfortunately not be able to sufficiently adapt through genetic change, emigration, or even phenotypic plasticity in the long run. However, not all hope is lost. What can we humans do to mitigate these effects of man-made climate change? The most important step is to begin stabilizing the rate of greenhouse gas emissions. One way we can do this is by reducing emission-producing activities that contribute to global warming, such as electricity usage in our homes and modes of transportation. Another method is by preserving sources that absorb these gases, such as soil, oceans, and forests. By taking such steps, we may be able to preserve the biodiversity that is crucial to our planet.